Okay, now for the part everybody's been wondering. I've been using Project Fi. It's even out of beta now. It's now, um, I guess, no longer Project Fi beta. So what do I think? I've been using it for a while. Okay, billing wise, I found it to be really easy. You get this cool app as I showed before, and what it does is it makes you very mindful of the data you spend. And in fact, you almost develop this internal, hey, I'm going to save money this month, knowing that you set aside a budget of close to what you were paying for. But if you look at this, you can see I started here at 103 because I had an 80 gigabyte, or I'm sorry, an 8 gigabyte plan, and then I just decided I was going to use less, and to the point now where I'm paying about 50. Now I own the phone outright, so all I pay is an additional $20 charge and $10 per gigabyte. And as you can see, they instantly give back whatever you haven't used. The cool thing is there's no delay until next month. You immediately, if you've used, in this case, let's see, I zoom in and I immediately used, there we go. I don't know if you can see this or not, but it says, yeah, check it out. You used, you've got this 8 gigabyte plan, you used 4.82, so they gave me 40, or I'm sorry, unused was 4.842. Can't tell if you can see that. So they immediately gave me back $48.42 before activating the bill and charging my card. So where others will say, "I'll roll over, we'll give you a credit," and then you'll see it sometime later because companies run on something called Net 30 or Net 90. This is really more instant. Now, I like that. That is super cool because you know that if you're gonna go over 1 month, you know exactly what to budget for, and that's kind of nice. The other thing is you can watch with detail of your usage. Now, I was gonna go. I don't have anything other than this to show you because this is all you get. You get your app. Um, I find that to be really helpful. And then what you can tell right there is the .003 was when I was going to go ahead and use as a hot point. And then I realized I have a smartphone, so I didn't need to use it as a hot point. So on those, the service wins really well. You can use what you use, pay what you pay for whatever you use, and really just go through and monitor what you're doing. And it goes right on to the card you set up, which is kind of nice. Now, what about quality? When it works really well. What I'm finding is that when I'm jumping between services, it's got Sprint. Your service connections are Sprint, T-Mobile, and your Wi-Fi, wherever that might be. And I found that when you're on Sprint at least for this phone, possible, and I guess the other, you can't surf the web and talk at the same time. So immediately while you're talking, it disengages web surfing. Very frustrating. However, you know, given what I'm paying, that's not the end of the world. You can ask them for a code to jog back and forth between the various network towers. It kind of works. The other thing is the handshake off between one tower and the other is not as awesome as I'd like. I've moved into where I've gone to Wi-Fi, or I've moved to a different tower, or where service is weak, and the experience problems I've had is that the party on the other side couldn't hear me, or the I couldn't hear the party on the other side. And every once in a while you'll get a tone bleep where it'll be like, something like that. Again, this is a fairly new service and they will work it all out. I do get apps that are updated. I get updates pretty regularly, actually. Um, Support is second to none. If I were to go ahead and say call me by pushing on the phone one, I'll get a call in probably 5 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes. It's amazing. And then they'll work with you. Some stuff they can't solve though. So Project Fi is a good answer. I actually like it a lot because it allows you to on demand go off and use more data if you want, or use less, and that bill is adjusted accordingly. As for the quality, when it works really well. But you're relying on Sprint and T-Mobile, and those handshakes are kind of tedious sometimes. Um, Occasionally, I have to restart the phone. But I hear that happens anyways with regular either one Sprint or T-Mobile service. Now, this phone wasn't a authorized, fully blown Verizon one, so I had points where I couldn't text and use data and talk and use data simultaneously unless I went through this little dance to get the processor to accept it. Um, there's a service thing, enhanced caller voice or some crap like that through Verizon. But all in all, I'm going to stick with it. I actually like it. The problems are annoying, but not impossible. And this is, so far, I do think they've made improvements into the service. And I think that the speed's been relatively decent. And when I do have to call, occasionally there's some reverb, some problems like that. I think when it's handshaking from like a T-Mobile tower to a Sprint tower or vice versa, it may not be as smooth of a transition because much like going inside your own network, you're now jumping between different ones. However, the phone is really good and the programming is really good on jumping to as many Wi-Fi services as it can locate and get its little grubby hands on. So it's really bent around trying to save that cost. Um, that's my final Project Fi report. If anybody has any questions, shoot my way and I'll answer them as soon as I can.